Hey everybody, Anthony 4x4 Diesel with a bit of an update. I'm going to give you 3 hot tips while we're in this video. Try and keep it short. The first most important one, as you can see, I'm not in the workshop, so we're not making good videos, we're not working on cars, and we're not available to provide those parts kits, but it will be very soon. If I do this right, I'll drop this video out on the 18th of April, and by then I'll probably in the middle of the Simpson Desert or something like that with no phone service, so don't bother contacting me until sometime after then. Now I'm going to give you approximate dates if you do want to get those parts kits. If you're really desperate and you can't wait, you might be right to text me on the 22nd of April. Okay, so send me that text 7:30 a.m. on the 22nd of April, Monday, always Mondays. We might be back on deck then, I'm not sure, just depends how things go. If we end up axle deep in mud again, that sort of thing. Axle deep in mud again, that's right. If you want to know the details of that sort of stuff, that's on our other YouTube channel, 4x4 Adventures. Spelt the same, changed the word from diesel to adventures. Anyway, we could be back on deck or around to take your order from the 22nd. Now, there could be some delays. I might not be sending until the 23rd, 24th, 25th, but most likely that week your order will be sent out. Now, if you've been waiting patiently and you've got a little bit more patience left in you, then the 29th would most likely be the date for you. Like I always say, keep an eye on the Prada Hospital Facebook page. If you're in Australia and you're ever planning to buy any parts kits from me, or book into the Prada Hospital. Okay, so a few tips on driving I just wanted to mention. So where I'm driving right at the moment, you might not be able to tell with the camera's a little bit right of center up the windscreen there, so you can't always tell distances and things like that. But this road is absolute rubbish, and if you drive where everybody else drives, you get shaken, like, you know, you might see the bull bar moving around a bit. I'll tell you what, you get it really bad. So what I do is, so this is your first tip, what I do, I either drive to the left or the right of where everybody else drives, right? So e.g., perhaps with my right tyre on the centre line or thereabouts, and my left tyre on a good hardly driven on piece of road because everybody else isn't driving there. But you don't do that when there's a caravan or truck coming the other way, like now. See that one? And that's why what I'm doing now while I'm on the video is left tyres around about the left line, depending how much sealed road there is there, which side of that white line I am. We'll call it on it, but it could be a little bit either way. Usually making contact with the line, and it just gives you such a much smoother ride. But what I want to tell you is just be very careful, just like as if you're getting tired or you can't drive or whatever the case may be. Don't go too far off the left side of the road, especially if it's soft, especially if it's got a camber on it, because if it's soft, it'll have a camber on it then, because you'll make it when you sink into it, and then things can go pear-shaped pretty quick. So don't think you're cool going, oh, I'm going to drive off the side. I'll give you an example. So here we've got a bit of, it's actually not too rough here at the moment, not a good example, a little bit of rough road there, but you know, here you just move to the right side of the lane, and look at it, it's even, you can see the colour of the road, it's just beautiful, it's smooth. It doesn't always work out, there's some rubbish roads, and guess what, if no one's overtaking and there's no cars anywhere within kilometres of you, you can even move over to the right lane. But stay tuned, in your mirrors every 10 seconds roughly, don't look more than 0.001 of a second, because that's where things will go pear-shaped as well. Alright, that's enough of Anthony's driving lessons, right? A couple of things I thought I'd mention, things that have let us down on this trip so far. Okay, let me have a look at the trip meter. Only just under 7,000 Ks so far at this stage. Just under 7,000 Ks in, what is it? I think we're going into the 4th week now, right? We've been away for going into the 4th week, if I can add up, something like that. And we've got a couple to go, more or less, just depends how it goes. I'm leaving it loose. I don't know when we're going to be back on deck. That's why I don't really say, hey, this is the date, because like I said, I could be having a good time and there's not many people texting me, and I go, you know what, I'll stay away for another few weeks, another month, if you know what I mean. But then if I'm getting heaps of text messages, and a lot of people have missed these messages saying, hey, we're closed at the moment, they get the C letter with a message, you know, the long message. If you got that, thanks for reading it, hope you understand, and we're going to catch you just on the UHF. Someone's 4 metre load back there. Jeez, went past him ages ago. He's got some good range going on. Anyway, so things that have let us down on the trip was what I was meant to be talking about. So it's always the aftermarket stuff. The old 2008 120 Prado is beautiful. All the work we've done on it is beautiful. beautiful. So the Oricom UHF is still working, no problem, but it must be getting close to 10 years old. I don't think it's 10 years old, but it could be. It's definitely getting close. The microphone wires, I've got a few Oricom radios, they're all very aged like that. All the in-car units, none of them are less than 5 years old. The wires, the insulation, the main insulation covering up near the mic end starts to crack and break away, or just break and crack, and then you can get some crackle. So we've done with John F, is people who watch the videos, they know John F's on the trip with us, and he has done a temporary repair on the microphone, which is bloody good and probably pretty permanent. But I have got spare microphones there back at the workshop, so I might swap one over, we'll see how it all goes. So Oricom, the aftermarket stuff, I'm not saying it's a bad brand, whatever, you get what you pay for. They were the ones that really introduced the longer warranties and made it more competitive on pricing and warranties, so it's all good. We need to support all the companies, to be honest, but of course if you can get quality Australian made at the same price, and something's really Australian made, not just all the components come, we put it together here and we call it Australian made, then of course Australian made, especially at the same price, is probably a better option. And even if it's a little bit dearer, as long as it's still quality, and like I said, genuine Australian made. I got a t-shirt the other day, it's got this massive big made in Australia tag on it, and I'm looking at it going, what is that? The t-shirt was made wherever, and then the print was done in Australia, and they said the print's worth 15, the t-shirt's worth 5, so the majority of it's made, so we get to have them, I don't know what the percentage rules are, or even if it was legal, them having the Australian made tag on it. It did say on the manufacturing tag made in Australia, but you know what? You can do that in other countries as well, can't you? And I'm not picking on other countries, so you can buy whatever you want, but for me, I like to buy Australian made stuff, and actually like some clothing that's really cheap, that's made in Bangladesh or India and all this sort of thing. But I don't like to use the C word, if you know what I mean. But back on track, so the Oricom, something to be aware of. So Lucky John had the bit of heat shrink and a bit of basic tools like that to do that, so that got us out of trouble. Other than that, I was using the handheld. I got 2 5-watt handhelds in the vehicle, so that got us out of trouble in the short term, and it was still working. I was just saving it in case I needed it for longer range, so I switched to the handheld once I knew what was going on. So we got all that charged up, and we're back on deck with the normal UHF. Might start carrying a spare microphone, because it's not the first time. The one in the Hilux cracked as well. It was still working fine, just didn't look good, so I've switched over to a new mic on that one. I think I had 2 spares there, because they're only 20 or 30 bucks each, whatever the case may be. The other thing that's let us down now is the ARB compressor. You might have seen that in some photos or videos. There will be videos about that, probably on both channels, depends what videos you're watching. Full before Adventures, full before Diesel, either both, whatever the case may be. Of course, I'd recommend you check out both of them, just good, genuine information. A quick reminder again, I'll drop this one out in, let's say the 18th, so Thursday the 18th, because like I said, by then, we should be around about on the middle of the desert somewhere, so if you see this video on the 18th, then you can guess which way we're going, we might bump into you. And then a few more days should get us back to base and that sort of thing, get everything cleaned up and be ready for action. We have got injector stock secured, so that's the good news. That being said, we don't know if if there's hundreds of people waiting for injector kits, or if there's only 5, or if there's a dozen or a few dozen or 1,000. I've just got no idea. Obviously all the wise people will wait for me to get their injector kit, all those 20 components, just the right stuff the first time, no remanufactured. I'm the one that told you about that, and that we only use genuine OEM original equipment manufacturer parts, right? So genuine, or the original manufacturer. In some cases like bearings, you can't, some of the bearings you can't buy from Toyota, so you need to go to their supplier, and you're not meant to be one of them. That's another story, I'm not going to go into it, right? But no remanufactured, no counterfeit copies, none of that. So here we've got a bit of a bumpy road here, so what I do, I've just moved it a little bit off to the left, and it's all smooth again, beautiful. That's what I'm talking about in those driving lessons back then. Anyway, we'll wrap this one up. Like I said, if you're really desperate, the 22nd should be a Monday in April. That might work. The only other thing I want to say, because the wise people watch to the end, listen to the end, right? If you hit me on Monday the 22nd and you don't get a response straight away, you don't get a response later, and you don't get a response by the end of the day, maybe we're still out of phone service sort of thing, we're getting close, or we've had another busy driving day. And quite often I'll open the messages because that is the Telstra phone, but I won't be responding to anything, but I'll be responding to other people's messages, people on the trips, people we're meeting, people on the trip, that sort of thing. We've got to communicate still. So yours will just get lost and buried under all the other messages. So please send it again on the 23rd, the 24th, the 25th. Say, hey mate, just a reminder, it's all you got to do in the morning at 8 o'clock, whatever, Melbourne time, always Melbourne time when we talk times, and I will eventually see it and get to it. Worst case scenario, 29th, we 100% should be, I can't see any issues with that unless we're, oh, that looks dry and we're in the middle of that and we're stuck there for weeks, but you never know, could happen. It looked like that was going to happen previously. Check out 4Before Adventures, subscribe, turn the bell on both channels, hit the like button if you like the info, and bada bing, bada boom, I'll catch you soon, and we're going to do some better videos. See you then, ciao.